Hi everyone, it's Joanne here and it's freezing in the UK. It's so cold. I suppose us British are a bit soft really when it comes to cold because I know some of you suffer worse temperatures than we do, but yeah, we're a bit soft, but it's so cold. And I've just popped the heating on in my studio because I have no intentions of going over there until it's nice and cozy and warm, because I want to be nice and relaxed when I share this free tutorial with you. So we're going to be painting a section of a Christmas tree, but we're going to concentrate on some lovely round Christmas baubles. And you are going to be amazed at how you can create a perfect circle without the aid of a pencil at all. So I'm dying to show you how to do that. If you're enjoying my free tutorials here on YouTube, then please do subscribe. It would mean a lot and it's free. And give me a bit of a thumbs up as well. That would be really appreciated. If you want to take your art to the next level, then yes, please do check out my Patreon channel and my free single purchase tutorials. And you can find all that information on my website at www.artbyboon.co.uk. So it's a goodbye from me for now. And Dylan, I'm sure you can see him in the background, sitting in his favourite position, daring to bark at anyone who kind of just has the audacity to walk past the house. How rude. So Dylan will definitely let me know when someone is at the door, or the postman's here, or someone just wants to walk past the house. Okay, so I'm hoping my studio is going to be nice and warm now, so let's pop over there and let's paint some Christmas baubles together. So we're ready to get going, so let's go through the materials that I'm going to be using today. So I've got a piece of Saunders Waterford and I've cut it into a nice long shape like this. And I've got a little scrap as well. And you might think that's for mixing the colours on, but it's not. I'm going to show you later what that is for. A big jug of clean water. I've got my palette, so I'm going to be using various colours, but I'm not going to go through them all with you because you can use whatever colours you like. I'm going to be using greens for the trees, so I am going to be using some cadmium yellow and some turquoise and cadmium red, but you can change those, so I'm not going to be too kind of strict on the colours that you're going to use on this one because it is completely up to you. I've got a size 8 brush and I've got my sword brush. Of course, you could use a rigger instead of a sword brush. And I've got these little pots here. They're little shot glasses. They're just plastic, but you can use glass ones. And they're a nice little size. I mean, you could use a bigger jar as well. You could use a glass, for instance. And you might think these are for mixing painting, but you're wrong about that as well. So there's the materials. I've also got a couple of colours handy at the side here. And again, that's the Pearl and I've got a cadmium orange. Again, you'll see shortly why it doesn't really matter what colours I've got, because you can swap and change them and make this picture completely your own. So, are you ready to get going? I'm just going to finish my coffee and then we'll get started. So let's start by putting in a suggestion of the Christmas tree. So I'm going to start with my rigger, or my sword brush should I say, and take a little bit of that red. And let's put in a couple of branches. So let's have one that's kind of coming right out like that. I'll clean my brush. And then I'm going to take some of the yellow. I'm going to dip it into that turquoise as well. So I'm getting two different kind of colours really. Hopefully they'll blend on the paper. There we go. So I'm just using that brush to put in a suggestion of the little fronds of that Christmas tree shape. And there's one. I seem to have lost the red a little bit, so I'm just going to drop like a bit more red into that. Should we do another one? Let's do one that kind of comes down like that. Clean the brush into that turquoise and yellow mixture, and again I'm just pulling those shapes out from that red centre line. A bit more yellow into that, I think. Try a few more up here as well. Again, just dropping a little bit more of the red into that centre. Should we do another one? We'll have a little baby one kind of coming down like that. Into the yellow, into the turquoise, and again I'm just pulling these little tiny frond shapes out. Perfect. Now they're a bit light in colour, so I'm going to take some ultramarine blue into that same brush, and I'm going to allow that to just kind of run into some of those sections. While it's still wet. Oh, you could keep playing for hours, couldn't you? I'm going to have a bit more green. I'm just building up the colour. Maybe bring that one out just a little bit more. I'm going to drop a little bit more red into that one as well. There we go. I think that's enough. It's such fun. You just want to keep playing forever. Okay, so I'll just take my cloth and just clean my brush. So, while we're waiting for that to dry, well, of course, you can always do this, by the way. Just give it a bit of a spritz. That's something I always like to do, just to kind of soften and fuse that paint. Let's have a play now. This is going to be fun because we're going to create some Christmas baubles, and we're going to use these little fellows here. So let's do a red one first. So I'm just going to run the rim, you see what I'm doing there, into that palette, so it's picking up that red pigment. So it's nice and wet. And we'll have this one sort of hanging, say, from here. So I'm pressing that into my paper. Let's pull it away. So we've got a perfect circle. So let's take a bit more red and paint inside that line. Now, I want us to leave a little highlight, maybe something like that, you know, a bauble. A bit more water. Perfect. And look at that, we've got a perfect circle. I'm going to take a bit of quinacridone gold, or you could use yellow ochre, and just put a little top on the top of that bauble and let that fuse into that red colour. And there we go, a lovely little bauble. Let's just give that a little spritz. Should we do another one? Okay, let's clean the brush. Oh, what colour can we do next? Let's do a turquoise one. So let's just mix a bit more of that turquoise. Wash. Let's pop that in. Of course, you could use two colours. You could dip it into the yellow as well. So where can we have this one? So we'll have this one at about this point here. Pushing that into the paper. Lovely. Now I can take that turquoise colour again and paint a little highlight. And just allow that colour to run inside that circle. There we go. Cleaning the brush. Let's take a little bit of that quinacridone gold. Let's pop that on the top. And again, I'm letting that colour fuse into that ball shape. Oh, this is so much fun. I never want to stop. Okay, this is dirty. It's got the turquoise on it, but let's go for another colour. Let's go for a blue. Ultramarine blue. And have another one, say, hanging down here. I mean, you can have as many of these as you like. There's no rules. There we go. Ultramarine blue. I'll pick a bit of that colour up. I'll just create a highlight. And I'm going to soften the paint inside that shape. Like so. It's a little bit wobbly at the bottom, but it's all good. Put a little top on that one. Allowing that paint to fuse into that blue. And there we've got 3 lovely Christmas baubles. Now, what I'm going to do next, you don't have to do, but I like to do this. I'm going to just give mine a little spritz underneath and allow that colour to run a little bit. There we go. I'll just clean up my area here. And there we go. So now we need to make them look like they're hanging from these branches, don't we? So this is where this card's going to come in, because I'm not great at drawing straight lines. So I'm just going to rip that little bit off there, look. And I've got that very neat edge here. I don't want the ripped edge, I want the neat edge. And I can dip that into any colour I like. I'm just going to wet it. So it's just, choices. Just a bit of dirt, really. I mean, you can dip it in lots of different colours. A bit of ultramarine blue, you could dip it in a bit of red. Just looking for a bit of a dirty colour. I'm just going to press that onto that paper. I'm wondering whether I'll get away with doing it on this one as well. Yeah, there we go. Let's just make that one a little bit longer. And there we go. And there we go. How much fun is that? I mean, there's so much more you could do with this one, of course. I mean, I'm just going to loosen that little line away from there, look. You can have as many baubles as you like. It is completely up to you. But how much fun is that? Right, before we go, I'm going to show you one last little thing that's just going to kind of finish this off. And remember when I mentioned these at the very beginning? Let's go back to those. And this is the Pearl Scarlet, so that's the same colour I've used here. I'm taking the lid off and I'm just going to squeeze that bit of paint just at the top here. I'm going to press it into my paper. So I'm making tiny little balls. You don't want too much to come out because we don't want to waste paint. It's just creating those lovely little red circular baubles. Maybe a different colour. This is the cadmium orange. Again, I'm just going to squeeze the paint and then just push it into the paint like that. Oh, I'm rocking my desk because I'm just having far too much fun. How many can I have? And my dog's starting to bark, as you can hear, so I'm going to say this one is finished. Don't forget, you can add more baubles if you like. You could do a whole Christmas tree, couldn't you? But just a bit of Christmas fun, just to get you in the festive mood. Now I'm going to go and see to my dog. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.